Does your mind ever feel like a courtroom where you are perpetually on trial, accused by worries, cross-examined by doubts, and sentenced by a relentless inner critic? You present evidence of your faith, your hope, and the truth of Scripture. Yet the prosecution, that inner voice of overthinking, seems to win every time, leaving you exhausted and convinced of your own inadequacy or impending doom. It's a draining, lonely, and seemingly endless proceeding, held in the one place you can never escape. What if the judge, the jury, and the prosecutor were all part of the same illusion? What if the frantic, condemning voice that sounds so authoritative is nothing more than a ghost, a phantom with no real power? What if the freedom you so deeply long for isn't found by winning the case, by somehow arguing your way to a verdict of not guilty, but by simply walking out of the courtroom altogether, recognizing it was never truly binding? This feeling of being trapped by overthinking is incredibly common, especially for sensitive souls navigating the complexities of faith and modern life. We know we should trust God. We know peace is promised, yet the mental gears grind on, manufacturing anxieties and dissecting every possibility until stillness feels like a forgotten memory. This internal conflict can be the source of so much spiritual exhaustion, making us feel like we are failing at the very faith that is meant to be our refuge. We've explored in our past reflections that thoughts aren't our true self, and that most anxious thoughts are illusions. Now let's delve into the practical art of recognizing these illusions in real time and consciously withdrawing the belief that fuels their power. This is the master key. It's not about achieving a perfectly silent mind. That is a myth that creates more striving and frustration. This is about defunding the illusion, and in doing so, finding the profound freedom that awaits in awareness. This is how you walk out of the courtroom. The first step is to learn the signature of the prosecution. Overthinking isn't just thinking a lot. It has a specific quality, a particular signature that distinguishes it from practical, present-moment problem solving. Deep reflection brings peace. Practical thought leads to clarity. Overthinking, on the other hand, is a hamster wheel in a cage, on fire. Learning to recognize its signature is the first step toward disengaging from its grip. Illusory, anxious overthinking often manifests in several ways. Learning to spot these patterns is like learning to see the bars of a prison that was previously invisible. First, it's a master of time traveling. Pay close attention to where your thoughts are living. Is the thought predominantly about the past? Is it dragging you back into a graveyard of regret, resentment, or shame, forcing you to endlessly replay scenarios that are over and gone? Or is it launching you into the future, painting a dozen different catastrophic predictions of what might go wrong? Anxious overthinking almost never lives in the present moment. True presence is rarely the focus. The ego thrives by pulling you out of the now. If the thought stream is heavily time-bound, it's almost certainly an illusionary narrative, not objective reality. The now is the one place the ego's stories lose their power. Second, it runs in repetitive loops. Does the thinking feel like it's making progress, or are you just stuck? Does the same worry, criticism, or scenario play over and over without reaching any true resolution or peace? This repetitive cycling is characteristic of the mind trying to solve an illusory problem. It's like a hamster wheel, lots of motion, but no real progress. You feel like you're working on something important, but you never arrive. Practical thought moves towards clarity. Overthinking often just spins. It's a mental glitch, not a problem-solving tool. Third, it carries a strong negative emotional charge. How does the thought feel in your body? Does the thought immediately trigger feelings of fear, anxiety, inadequacy, or urgency? That intense, often disproportionate charge accompanying overthinking is a sign that the ego has latched onto the thought, infusing it with survival energy. True guidance, even conviction, ultimately leads to a sense of peace. Overthinking feels like a jolt of poison. Peace rarely accompanies these thought patterns. The painful emotion is not proof that the thought is important. It is proof that you are believing an illusion. And finally, it creates a feeling of contraction. Stop for a moment and pay attention to your body. Does engaging with this line of thought create a physical sensation of tightness, constriction, or unease in your chest, stomach, or shoulders? Illusory, fear-based thinking often manifests physically. It's your body bracing for an impact that is only happening in your mind. This physical contraction stands in stark contrast with the sense of openness that accompanies resting in awareness. Truth feels like an exhale. Illusion feels like holding your breath. It's helpful to understand that the mind's job, in large part, is to create stories. It takes fragmented pieces of information, past experiences, current sensations, future possibilities, and weaves them into a narrative to make sense of the world. The anxious mind is a particularly dramatic storyteller. It casts you as the main character, usually vulnerable or flawed. It creates compelling plots filled with potential danger. It uses strong emotional language to make the story feel urgent and real. Recognizing this storytelling function is key. When you're caught in overthinking, you're not dealing with objective reality. You're caught inside a story the mind is telling about reality. Freedom begins the moment you realize you are not the character trapped in the plot. You are the awareness reading the story. From this position, you can start to question the narrative, asking, is this story actually true, or is this the only possible story? Begins to create distance. You shift from being the character swept away by the plot to the awareness, able to see it for what it is, a mental construction, not ultimate truth. The crucial turning point isn't fighting thoughts, but doubting them. This isn't a skeptical, cynical doubt, but a faithful, contemplative questioning rooted in the understanding that God's peace and presence are more real than the mind's fearful narratives. So how do you practice this actively? First, acknowledge, don't argue. Simply notice the thought pattern without judgment. The worst-case scenario story is playing again. Trying to immediately argue often backfires. Gentle acknowledgement creates space. You are not condemning the thought. You are simply noticing it as an object passing through your awareness. Next, apply gentle inquiry. Bring in the core questions. Ask them with genuine curiosity, not as an attack. Is this thought 100% objectively true right now? Is it happening in reality or only in my head? Is believing this thought helpful or harmful to my peace and faith? Does it lead me closer to God or deeper into fear? And the most powerful question of all, who would I be right now without this specific thought? This last question gives you a direct taste of the freedom that is available the moment you withdraw your belief from the lie. The practice is a gentle refusal, a quiet rebellion. It is choosing to be more devoted to the reality of God's presence than to the fiction generated by your mind. Each time you notice a thought, see its signature and choose not to get on the train with it. You weaken its power. You are defunding the illusion. You are walking out of the courtroom. And what you find outside is not a void. It is the quiet, spacious, unshakable peace that was there all along, patiently waiting for you to come home.